Honorable admiration, all my good brothers and sisters of the faith. Once again, got me on a late night. Like check 1 2 1 2. I see a little pop, so I'm gonna go out, come back in. Y'all can play the song by 30,000 my knees. I'll be right back.
Yeah, 3,000. Enemy of my tribe, of mine, so what's happening? Government and all, y'all cross the line, so what's happening? My ancestors wouldn't like you cross the line, so what's happening? We original, y'all GMO, y'all lying. I do this for my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche. Oh yeah, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche. I do this for my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche. I do this for my Nietzsche. Should've left me where I was, cause I ain't never scared. Took that little ice off my neck for this arrowhead. My nation, my Nietzsche, someone thorough said. Real Americans, still pure blood, we thoroughbred. I'm like, let my people go and just take me instead. When it's red or blue pill, I'm only choosing red. I'ma always choose my people, you can keep that bread. Our government owe $1 trillion, you can keep that bread. If it's one thing Jim Crow is showing me, I don't want no white folks ruling over me. I don't want no politicians ruling over me. I don't want no po-po ruling over me. Only somebody that's like me gon' treat me like me. I'm Iron Ryan Cherokee, Chief and Dr. GLE. I'm still a G like EST. You might not be as G as me. You think you free, but you need remedy to be as free as me. I'm from the hood, I'm still waking up my people. They got us good, they still hating on my people. When it comes to fashion, the whole world wanna be like us. When it comes to music, the whole world wanna be like us. When it comes to dancing, the whole world wanna be like us. Foreigners are doing everything, trying to weaken us. Sports, y'all can't fuck with us. Rhythm, know we killing y'all. Anything involve a ball. Mentally, we figured out the cosmos. After all inventing shit, we smashing y'all. It's time to take through asking y'all rights by blood after all. Vatican and the Smithsonian got all our shit. Artifacts and relics still keeping us away from it. When they say it was a long time ago, that's racist shit. Y'all holy land keep stolen shit. We don't need y'all holding it. Reverse engineering our technology, controlling it. Gave it everything you got, but you can't put no soul in it. I ain't go see the new Matrix cause I'm living it. Everything is not what it seems, but I'm killing it. Can you afford to pay attention who you living with? Now they trying to mandatory vax, but is you getting it? Fall back off my knees, I'm peeping y'all tactics. This ain't no earth war, this is galactics. Goddesses and gods warming up like practice. We gon' put arrows on your chest like patches. Mongoloids can't style like us, them fake natives ain't wild like us. They ain't got a soul, destiny as a child like us. Nobody power like us, nobody peace pop like us. Boxing, y'all can't fight like us, nobody lost they right like us. Wake 'em up, I'm in the way. Say too much, I'm in the way. They tryna kill us anyway, so listen what I'm finna say. Everybody, our kids, we raised y'all anyway. What that sense is finna say, everybody ain't here to stay. Is you with us or against us, ain't no in between. I'm a non-ether being, not a human being. Got fucked in 1492, but all my allies what it do. Renegade got clipped for days, be careful, I advise you to. Enemy of my tribe, of mine, so what's happening? Government and all, y'all cross the line, so what's happening? My ancestors wouldn't like you cross the line, so what's happening? We original, y'all GMO, y'all lying. I do this for my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche.
All right. Honorable admiration, all my good brothers and sisters of the feather. Tonight will be a very short night going over some information about the west coast of America. All right, I don't hear any pops in that. Okay, this is some information about the Los Angeles County area. All the areas that are what you would call sea level. This is actually a very, very complicated thing to talk about because a lot of people, even those who live in California, if they're not really into marine biology, this map right here that I am showing, there it is. Okay, so you can see in the first map, the bottom part that's sticking out, that would be Baja California. Now you see on this map that Baja California is not connected to the rest of California. I am a person that is very suspect about maps, but I have a great deal of information passed down from ancestors about California. My ancestors left Indiana with the Indiana Company and migrated to California. Again, during the periods of the late 19th century, there were a group of Aboriginals that did migrate west. This is a story that has a lot of conflict. Um, I put out this information about it was 2017, and I shared this information, and I was explaining that California was marshland, swampland, and marsh. It was marshy. It was swamp, and there's a whole lot of history in California that has been created, but really has no empirical data. So when I say empirical data, what I am saying is there is no evidence from somebody who wrote about that period during that period. That means there was no eyewitness account. So what I have discovered and what I am still researching and having a lot of trouble digging into this because this is very, very difficult. Very, 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 very extremely difficult. I'm trying to. Y'all have no idea how difficult. Okay, so basically, if you go to historical landmarks, parks, and many places in California, if you try and get their oldest black and white photos, images, and anything, do not accept the drawings. Do not accept paintings, water paint by the dude with the Jew fro. I don't care. Only use the pictures and keep in mind Photoshop existed before photos got any better than it was in the beginning. So it's complicated. That's the complicated part about it. So what happens is this. It is said that there was a great catastrophic event that happened in 1755. But that's on the East Coast. Then it said there's another catastrophic event that happens in 1811. That's the South and the Midwest and the East Coast, right? And during this whole time, I'm not even going to go by any of the other documentations, but when it comes to the period of the 1860s, there was a major event that happened on our planet dealing with mud floods. Now, what is pushing these muds up? You have fissures, geysers, and many other things. Some might even call them mud volcanoes. I haven't seen a mud volcano. Until I see a mud volcano, I don't know. But we do have geysers, we do have fissures, and we have many other things that can push up saturated area, cause quicksand, old swamp areas that dried up. You have water that flows underneath the earth, that's flowing all throughout the earth. It can run into an area where it gets stopped up inside of the earth, start to saturate everything above it, start breaking down stuff, and you get a lot of sinkholes. A lot of that stuff is happening today. When it comes to California, California has one of the most intricate tunnel systems, but it goes to difficult parts. It's very hard to find these tunnels because they keep a lot of the information about these tunnels hidden. So only like people who work in downtown LA that go into the earth, like they're going down 5 stories, know a little bit about the details of these things. But that's throughout the whole LA County. And supposedly these tunnels spread all throughout the West. Okay, so if water is to be drained, some say dried up. Drying up is one thing. How is the water not, seeping into the earth when it's just sitting, like in a lake? That's why when you observe lakes and you look into the details of them, majority of them, if not all of them, that's on the West Coast, especially on the West Coast, are man-made lakes. They literally lace the bottom of these areas around ancient cities, ancient civilizations, and flooded these ancient cities out. So you have a lot of areas where you have these dams that flooded the area. If you remove these dams on the West Coast, and there's a great deal of dams on the West Coast, there would be a continuous flow of water. The thing is, if this water is not coming from snow in the mountain, where is this water coming from? So I'm not trying to leave people all puzzled and trying to figure things out. That there's such thing as geysers that are taking water from inside the earth, pushing it out to the surface. I mean, it doesn't take rocket science. It just takes rock science. So basically, you see here on the map, they're trying to attribute this map to. This map, basically, they push it back a date to Garcia Rodriguez de Montevallo. That's not even a name. That is a group of titles. In fact, every name that you hear before the early 20th century, late 19th century, if you look into all these names, they're just titles. Montevallo means Mound Valley. So come on. Garcia Rodriguez, this shit is ridiculous. But the cover up is that they'll put it back in the 1500s. When you look into the details of people traveling to the West and you look into the details of the gold rush, you're going to find a great deal of stories of, oh, we arrived by boat. They didn't just go by horse and buggy. You're going to hear we were spirited, or they're going to say special type of words that were being used in the late 19th century for traveling to get to California. So again, we have here on the map that they're trying to portray to be in the 15th century, when really this is what California looked like 200 years ago. Now, there's a lot of people who challenged me when I first put out this information. And basically, I explained to them, if you're not going to take the time to go to all the landmarks I went to, all the parks, if you're not going to take the time to talk to park rangers like I have and mountaineers like I have and get all the details of this information and learn everything there is about marine biology, the plant life that's in the ocean, and study off through California, Arizona, Nevada, and study the flora. That there's a great deal of flora that comes out of the ocean that spreads all the way to Colorado. You have areas where there's great deals of salt in the middle of nowhere, the Utah salt flats, and there's other areas around there where a great deal of salt. Grand Canyon with remnants of great deals of water flowing through the areas, now just trickles of that water. which direction it was flowing. I'm not gonna go into the details of that. But the key point is that majority of this area was underwater. So in this situation with building these dams, it stopped the flow of water. Now you have three major dams in the San Gabriel Mountains where I live at. You go about 50 miles, not even 50 miles, you go 20 miles west. You have another great deal of dams. You have Devil's Gate Dam in Pasadena. And you keep going, you're going to run into dams. There's dams all over the place. So they dam these areas up, blocking the water, keeping the water in the mountains. The water continuously flowed out of the mountain. Yeah, and I want to reiterate this, that this area, Los Angeles County, and everything along that coast, basically from San Diego up to San Fernando. I would say you can include San Francisco, but there are some areas that are mountainous regions. And to get all the details to what exactly was underwater, to know exactly what level the water was, the ocean water and blending, there's a whole lot of stuff going on here. Swamplands. I lived in Gardena. I went into the park areas and did my own little research on Gardena. Had to make some phone calls. I found out all of Gardena, California was a swamp. A lot of that area, Gardena, Compton, Hawthorne, a lot of these places were swamps and people were traveling through these areas by boat. There's a whole area called City of Industry. City of Industry was flowing water. Now you could go drive through it all day. The crazy part is a lot of these areas and the names of these cities and the names of these streets are all names that represent water flowing, or there was a lake here, or there was a river. Well, what they've done is they blocked it up. They cemented a lot of areas up, and some of the stuff was already there, and they just added on to it, did a little facading over it, doing whatever, what they do, renovating something, trying to make it look like they did it when it was stuff already there. And they've turned the regular rivers into some damn cement leading all the way out to the ocean. You have the Wabash. I'm right by the Wabash River. Wabash River flows right out of San Gabriel Mountains. So now you have the control of these rivers. All right. Again, if you just do the math on the three dams in San Gabriel Mountains, which I have not taken the time to do, because it's like, shit, well, I already know it. It doesn't matter how many gallons, liters, or whatever of water is being held back. And if they released it, how much water would flow, and how the hell is this water staying in that place? Why isn't the water seeping into the earth like it should? I mean, for people to think, I tried to put it out a couple weeks ago to why hasn't the ocean seeped into the ground? How is the ocean water still at the same level, rising here and there? You got high tide, low tide, and all that. Okay? Rivers are not affected by so-called tides. And I'm very skeptic about some damn moon pulling some water, or the water supposedly reaching for the moon. I don't believe that nonsense either. So basically, you see here, let me get back to the important stuff, that there was an ancient civilization here in California, and this civilization was destroyed. Okay, some catastrophic event happened where the whole area was flooded, and these people, they lie about damn near everything. They have all their reasons, so they'll make up this story and attach it to Christopher Columbus, saying his first voyages in the late 15th century, and that basically that they're searching for a terrestrial paradise. Now, I was going over Paradise Lost and explaining that the mountaineers, the park rangers, and the missionaries traveled from Nevada to Yellowstone. And from Yellowstone, they documented what they saw in the mountains. So you have a great deal of art that they'll try and attribute to the stories written by John Milton, and they'll say it's Gustave Doré, and you'll find out that really these are people writing this stuff in the late 19th century, making these drawings in the late 19th century. When you get to this whole terrestrial paradise situation and the legendary land of ease, right, and riches, with beautiful women wearing gold and pearls, well, they're talking about the women that they'll say is of Khalifa, who had hundreds of griffins guarding her area. So they make up some very interesting stuff. So basically, what's going on here is these missionaries, these park rangers. There wasn't even no mountaineers at that time, so let me correct that. Some park rangers who really got into nature and really were about that life became mountaineers. You have park rangers who are just doing it because it's a job. It's like that. If you type in why park rangers don't talk about Yellowstone, why park rangers, what park rangers in this area, the Appalachian Mountains, and you can get a great deal of information. And then you'll say, damn, well, how these $5 Indians, how come they ain't spit none of this shit? So mountaineers and park rangers know more about the land than the $5 Indians, which is expected because there's some $5 Indians. So basically, the $5 Indians, the park rangers, the leftover of the missionaries, which are basically the Catholic Church in California and all along the Pacific line, that's from Alaska to Antarctica. Again, from A to A, Alaska to Antarctica, one of the remnants of the oldest civilization on Earth. I'll be going back into the details of showing how there's just a piece of every single civilization in California. And you can't even really give it a name because nobody can really say that they know the tongue of somebody that somebody spoke that far back. You can't really give it a name. But many have attempted, and there is a name that people have given it. Some call it Gabriano, and they call it the San Gabriel Mountains, and they call it the San Rafael Hills. You go up north, past Central California, and you get up there, you got San Michael. You have the San Michael Island and San Michael area. So you have these areas that are receiving archangel names, and they're looking for terrestrial paradise. And I broke down Paradise Lost, where this is a story from the people traveling over here and writing about this. Now, the details to when they started damming the area up, letting whatever water seep, letting the area dry up. Once you change the ecological, once you change the ecology, excuse me, not ecological. Once you change the ecology, which you're removing the swamp and the water, and now it's dry, you're gonna change the atmosphere as well. Unfortunately, I can't go out to the details about that. Just trying to really get this information to everybody so they get an understanding of this. And the importance of it is that once this area was completely dammed up and dried out, that's when people started moving to California. But before they did, there were a group of people who came to California documenting what they saw. And they started slapping these names on these areas around here according to what they're seeing. So if you look up LA County and look up the cities, you'll find out that each one of these cities that are like a major city or a major area leading into something, that they all receive their names for a specific reason. Like the city of Cerritos, that's the gateway. What is it the gateway to? That is the gateway to the land of the Los Angeles. Why is it called Los Angeles? Why are they calling these mountains archangels and shit like that? What we think is written in 16 or 1500 or Columbus or some damn King James or whatever. This shit was made up in the late 19th century. So there's a whole lot of stories that a lot of people are putting out, and and then they'll sit and read their stories, and then they'll read something and say something that's connected back to something that was created in the late 19th century. That's what people, they want to do it. And look at it. The preachers, they're the popular. Just think of this: popular people in the world who get all the attention. It's like 80% lie, 20% truth. Period. No, there's nobody getting a great deal of following like that. No real genuine following like that. Like millions of subscribers, millions of viewers, getting the capability of being on a network, unless you with the 80%, 20% lie. So I'm here to obliterate that 80-20% nonsense and just give y'all the hardcore information. Once they drained this area and they saw what it looked like, they started naming the areas, started naming the cities. When they saw that there were buildings still up, when they started seeing that there were structures here, pyramids and plateaus here, they went on naming stuff and bringing other people here. When they figured out how to dam up all the areas and get to certain lands and saw what the land looked like from above, which it took them about 20 to 30 years, then they really started naming stuff according to what they saw. And then later they changed it. Hollywood was basically called Serpent Land because from above, it looked like a bunch of serpents on the ground. The mountains looked like serpents and dragons, and they documented and wrote the shit. But then they changed it to Hollywood. Area where Michael Jackson had his property at. Giant fucking, excuse my language, giants and all that good stuff. And all in the land from above. But they really couldn't see this stuff in a true, definition when the technology became better, when Jack Parson built this rocket and was able to shoot rockets up and have cameras pointing to the ground and recording and taking pictures. That's when they really started digging into this stuff. That's when you get Hollywood. That's when they're making movies out of this stuff that they're seeing in the mountains. They're making books out of this stuff. This is when you get your Qurans and your Aquarian Gospels and your Torahs, and your Egyptian stuff. When you get this Mesopotamian stuff, this Atlantis story, I already read last week, that it was in the 18. I don't even want to mess up on the date, but it's recent when it comes to these stories, these Atlantis stories, these Lemurian stories. This stuff is all new. I'm telling you, you can't predate Mesopotamia in any way, form, or fashion before Rawlinson. You can't. And then you can't trust them when they say where a tablet was found at. Can't trust any of these people. Rawlinson was a fellow of the Royal Society. So if y'all want to trust him, cool. I don't even think the person really existed, and I don't think that the story happened at that time, because that story connects right back to some stuff that's connected back to the Bible. So putting together this information, I started digging into this, and I started visiting these ancient civilization sites, these early man sites. And then I started looking into this stuff. So you see here, the Great Basin area. So what I'm trying to explain is there's a very, very old civilization, and many people have no idea. And sometimes it frustrates me because it's like people talk about stuff in America, and all they talk about is back east. All they talk about is the South. All they talk about is the East Coast. They don't even talk about the thousands of structures in Canada. They don't even know about it, really. So that's why they probably can't talk about it. But if it wasn't for our good brother, Supreme Chief Holiday, putting me up on the brother with that, I don't even go on to details of it. Chief Holiday got the info on the person that finds all these sites. Y'all be sleeping, man. Y'all be sleeping, man. Y'all gotta start showing y'all support. Well, you know what I'm saying? So if we want to get this information out, can this help you in your daily life? Yeah, because this will tell you what, hey, you can go mine. You can go take a trip to a specific location nobody's within 100 miles of, and you can find some minerals because of what it looks like from above tells me what's in that area. And people who are missionaries, not missionaries, people who are mountaineers and park rangers, they'll know about it. People are mountaineers and park rangers and people who gone off grid, like they know about, I just walked past the mountain that looks like the giant crow, and I walked past the giant gargoyle mountain, and on that one, it's half the mountain looks like an eagle, the other half looks like a bear. But when people, you know what I'm saying, hear this information, they go brain dead, brain dumb, fucking brain fraud and retard, because you got these little cult leaders who come out putting out this stuff trying to make it to where it's a joke and you won't look into it. So you have a city within these basins, a whole city called Eagle Rock. Look it up. Giant eagle. But that's just one. That's just one good example. So you have a great deal of ancient civilizations in the black area. Okay? In all these other areas, these outlines, you have civilizations. You see, you got a piece of Texas, you got New Mexico, you got a good portion of Arizona, you got all of Nevada. You know what I'm saying? You got all that shit. What's that? Utah. You got a little piece of Oregon, but these are the areas that have ancient civilization. So the civilizations that we know and the names that we're going by were given to us by the people who are not us and do not have our best interests in mind. They don't. And they have civilizations that they don't even know what to name it. And they just use words like Plisonian and weird things that'll tie back to evolution. So anyway, let me move on to this next slide. Yeah, my slides take forever. Let me speed this up. There we go. So again, you see here, this is another example. Let me see the story. Okay, here you see the Basin Ranges, right? What you got are watersheds and range. Now, there's Lake Mead is basically drying up, and that means that's a watershed area that is drying up, and if they don't release the water from the other watershed areas that they dammed them up, then might not be a Lake Mead anymore. As I showed with the pyramid, the step pyramid coming out of the mountains, California, in my travels through California, I have found California. This is what you'll find in California, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Oregon. And a lot of these areas are covered by trees, and they have taken dirt and put dirt in areas and planted trees around stuff to cover things up. It's unbelievable. I've literally gone to the places and seen where they've done it and seen the black and whites and seen the pictures of why they're doing it. So, it's just something that it takes a lot of time, takes some money, and a lot of patience to deal with gathering the information. So I've been gathering this information on California alone, just the Southern California part, since 2015. So out of 7 years, you know what I'm saying, I barely started digging into Central California. I haven't even made my way up into digging into the information about Northern California. Barely got to dig in the desert areas, which is a wild story in itself. Like Northern California, you have Shasta, you have Bohemian Grove. You know what I'm saying? Basically, what I was saying earlier, that everyone talks about the Midwest, they talk about the East Coast, they talk about the South, but they won't talk about the Great Basin area. You know, they're not talking about areas around the Great Basin, Wyoming, you know, Montana, Idaho. It's like it's this is what I'm seeing. It's like only the South exists, only the Midwest exists, only the East Coast exists, Central America and South America. But the oldest shit, and where there's have way more of everything, is right here in California, Oregon, Washington. Hell, they call the throne of civilization. They say that shit's in Wyoming. I don't hear nobody talking about this shit. I don't hear nobody there. And again, there is more ancient civilization. There's more mounds. There's more history, more early man sites in the areas on the map where I'm showing you right now. Everything on this side of the Rocky Mountains. There's more. There's temples in every mountain. Temples in every mountain. I'm still documenting data. I'm almost up to 3,000 images of documented areas. So it's like this. I'm over here putting in work. Like, I'm really putting in field work, ground research. It's this stuff it's like it's not enough time in the day. It's not enough time in the day for me to document this stuff. But the Great Basin area, again, the Basin civilization is old as dirt. Again, when you talk early man sites, we talking 100,000, 200,000, 400,000, 10 million. Okay, this is the dates they're giving, and they're still finding bones and skulls all throughout California. And now this stuff is starting to look, man. Come on, man. They got Area 51 in Nevada, man. What the fuck you think that shit's there for show? They got the situation in New Mexico. People don't even know about New Mexico. Man, there's so much ancient stuff in New Mexico. So anyway, there's far more older stuff here. And when you look into the stuff about ancient stuff that people were looking for the Garden of Eden, looking for the Tree of Life and all that, man, that shit was California. But they'll try and trick you and have you looking down in South America. They'll have you pass up California while they're making most of the money, while the world is controlled right out of California. The television networks and all the other networks on planet Earth all still following the standard of Viacom and Comcast and the other companies connected to them. All this shit, the Hollywood stuff and the news and whatever, it's still controlled by media. It's still controlled by Hollywood. Serpent Land. Let's call this shit really what it is. It's Serpent Land. Asuksanga, the mountain. There's a mountain back there where it's nothing but giant serpents. So there's a whole great deal of skeptic stuff in this. Some people, they'll say, "Oh, you crazy as hell for the giants and all that stuff." And some people, they can't see the images on the mountains. And it's just like, and this is what all I can say is, go pay you some money, come over here to California, go to Eagle Rock, go to next to NASA JPL, go to Devil's Gate Bridge, look at the mountain, tell me what you see. Go to Devil's Gate Dam, look at the mountain, tell me what you see. Go to Suicide Bridge, I can name off 10 of them. Then go into the mountains and go to the Devil's Backbone. Go to the Devil's Pear Blossom. Go to the Devil's Punch Bowl and go over there where there's so many step pyramid structures, you get dizzy. And again, there's more step pyramid structures in the Great Basin, in the regular basins, than it is around the whole planet combined. And that's including parts of America. There's more step structures. The mastering of making step structures, making pyramids itself and all that, you can actually see the development. You can literally see step-by-step development in California, in Arizona, in Nevada. So there's a great deal of information missing, and most people can't talk about it because you have to Google. Nobody wants to take their time to come do what I'm doing. Cool, I understand. We all have lives. So if you're not going to take the time to do what I'm doing, and the stuff that I'm doing, I'm talking about some groundbreaking shit. I'm not trying to do something that's small. I'm not trying to go behind somebody, y'all. I'm setting things in movement. I'm putting things in motion. I'm sitting here every day. I look at these mountains. I look at these giant faces on the mountains every single day, and I could go tap somebody on their shoulder. Hey, look at that right there. Huh? That's what I get. Huh? I get that same lame hella gay response. Damn, I didn't even know that. And I had one person, jaw dropping, damn near started drooling looking at the mountain, saying, "My God, I've been driving past this for 10 years." But I guess it's because it's me. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's because it's me. See, I'm not here to pat you on your back, tell you good job when you make a basket, tell you all right when you throw a football. Nah, I'm not here for that. If you want people to make you feel good, go get a massage. You want people to make you feel good and think happy thoughts and shit, go sit at a seminar. Go listen to a damn um uh a motivational speaker. You know what I'm saying? But people who are doing things in the world right now and making moves and shit, they got this drive, man. They got this drive. They have this drive in them. My drive is to establish this and kick it off and continue from where our ancestors left off in positive and good motion. I'm not trying to be the ancient people. I'm trying to take it to the next level. And in order to do that, I need to know exactly what happened, exactly what's going on, exactly what I'm standing on. And that's how it starts. That's how it starts, y'all. Hold on. All right, so look at this. You see everything on that side that says great, you know what I'm saying? The line at the top right under continental divides, it says great, right? Let me show y'all something. Now, I don't really deal in belief. I don't care if someone believes, you know what I'm saying, me or anything. But tell me why this fits in this. How is this possible? I don't care if anybody sees it. I see it. And I call it what it is. What I see when I'm looking at this, I see a giant dragon holding a skull in his hand. I don't care. Before I used to care and try and convince people to get them to see this shit. I I, I don't care no more. You know what I'm saying? Those days are over. I'm moving on because I found out there's a great deal of people who got stuff going for themselves, who got money, who got shit going, and they be knowing about this shit. There, I can't listen to somebody who don't know shit tell me anything about it anymore. I can't. I don't know. It's like what is it? What did my homeboy used to say? You can't tell me shit. Yeah, there it is. You can't tell me shit. Sorry if you thought you could. So people want to dig into these books with all these names, these fancy ass names and shit, as if the shit existed before 1860s. And then they speak it and they repeat it and they regurgitate these fake ass stories and everybody feels good about it and shit. Cool. I don't believe in aliens. I don't even agree with the giants that are 12, 18, 30, 56 feet in the so-called bones. I still say that those bones and those images and all that stuff is fake to this day. But I haven't been able to get past that. Like this one. You know, I can't get past this. I can't dismiss this stuff. I can't dismiss what I'm seeing with my own eyeballs. And the stuff I've been finding lately, oh man, I'm talking about why the fuck hey, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I don't know why people ain't rallying behind this shit. This shit's bigger than me. And I'm not just, no pun intended, but this shit bigger than me. This shit way bigger than me. And I think the problem is people are trying to put this information, the people trying to put the person above the information. It's about the information. It's not about the person. But I guess that's a thing going on today. People got favorites and shit. People got people that they like to hear, the motivational speaker and shit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody, the drill sergeant ain't your friend. Nigga, I'm the drill sergeant. The dude who teaches the professor ain't the professor's friend. I'm the professor's teacher. So I'm not here to hold your hand and all that type of stuff. I'm here to say, hey, look, man, this is like this, and this is right here. And this is what they're saying. And these are the type of minerals that are in these locations. Here go these areas right here. Here go a couple of spots that is perfect land to build on. I know where all the areas in the Great Basin, I damn near know them by heart. All the places that you can go live on right now, miles away from everybody, live in happiness, live out the rest of your life and enjoy the rest of your life. Build your own farms, so go ahead and move on, create your own damn civilization. But people, they want to read some shit. You want to hear people read some shit. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? I'm just getting to the point where people need to see why we don't have it like this. Why we don't have it like this anymore? Let me show you. Anybody in America really about that Aboriginal life, you would have that book. You would know about this book. If you really about the Aboriginal life, and you really about the greatness of our people and what we were doing before we fell, you would have that knowledge. You would have that book. They weren't trying to hold each other's hands, man. They took here, boom. This is how you do it, boom. Oh, he can't do it. Bow. Get his ass off the assembly line. You got to go down there and figure out how to do the simple shit. Send your ass to do a simple task. But we weren't holding each other's hands, kumbaya-ing, patting each other on the back. Third place is still first place. No last place. No last place in this place. No, not here. Not here, man. It's time for those who want to graduate to the next level and really do some stuff and really move and really build some stuff in these areas and really link up with other farmers and stuff and link up with people who got gardens and stuff and really build a trade, man. That's what I'm about. That's why I'm studying this stuff. That's why I'm gathering this information. That's why I'm documenting. See, when it comes to this person found a civilization older than Lemuria, Atlantis, the first fart, the first turd, and all that. It's gonna have my name next to it. I'm not gonna be the person. He read some shit somebody said in the late 19th century about some shit that happened in the 16th. Not me. Or he read some shit, some goofy looking shit on the wall somewhere. Not me, buddy. Nah. The reason why we don't have it like this anymore, because we don't have that drive. When you know what the world is and you know what you're surrounded by and you're surrounded by like minds, you move a certain way. You operate a certain way. That's why we don't got it like that. During the times of the Civil War, sometimes I'll be want to reveal stuff, but some people be feeling, I guess it's not right that I don't. But during the Civil War, everybody didn't live in the South in the East Coast that was over there on the East Coast during the Civil War. It was a horrible thing that happened, and people went to the areas where it wasn't as bad. Okay? Where mud wasn't all over the place. People were fleeing from catastrophic events in every possible direction to get away from the catastrophic events. And the one I'm talking about is in the 1860s. So I'm a little skeptic about it. That's why I keep poking at the Civil War and all that stuff. Man. I'm real skeptical about this stuff because what I'm finding out that there was some catastrophic events that happened, and a lot of our people died that way. I've heard too many people say the Civil War really wasn't a war, and that there was some issues going on. But this is what I've discovered: catastrophic event causes the people who survive to travel away from the catastrophic event. If the catastrophic event hits my homeland and you are 1,000 miles away, and our survivors are coming to your land, and we hungry and all that shit, and then we seeing you chilling and got all this abundance of stuff, are you really gonna let a group of people just, you know what I'm saying, come up in your shit and hungry as fuck? You think they gonna ask you for your potato on the ground? They gonna ask you for your fruit? Yeah, there were a lot of issues happening, just not the way people think. Just not the way people think. We want it like this. We want to have 20,020 businessmen moving and shaking. Got got to get in one accord. You know what I'm saying? About somebody wrote it in 1956, about 1656, about something that happened in 1256, that happened in 856. Telling you, man, y'all gotta go watch flamenco again. Anybody who believing in history and all this type of stuff that these people have created, there was no such thing as a curriculum called history until the AIU created it. Okay, the enemy created the curriculum called history. Okay, we did not create the curriculum called history. So you see the great. Okay, y'all want to look into some very old civilization shit, some 20 million-year-old shit, some shit going back to whenever time you think the first fart or whatever. Look at the stuff that's on this side of the Great Line. So you're gonna find all the ancient shit, all the real ancient shit, all the first civilization shit, all the first development. Then you have these other areas, these other lines. These lines right here, they have it as continental divides. But what I'm trying to explain is that there's ancient civilization in these areas, but where the Great Line is, you know, the Rocky Mountains. What I'm trying to explain is that shit is old. So very old. So that's why you find a piece. That's why when you go into the Element Encyclopedia of Secret Societies and you see what's been documented about Atlantis, it's going to say Atlantis was California. It's going to say that's a terrestrial paradise. When you look into the story of Lemuria, that they're going to tell you that was San Francisco. That's Mount Shasta. That's Bohemian Grove. People go to Mount Shasta today and they try and scare your ass to get you to not go. They say it's Nordic beings in Shasta Mountain, UFOs in Shasta Mountain, Bigfoot gonna come get you and take your shoes in Shasta Mountain. They tell you everything to keep your ass away from there. Bohemian Grove. Well, you can't go to Bohemian Grove. They got a giant owl. They say there's a giant owl there. You think they built that? No, that shit was already there. There were a lot of these things already in these places, but these missionaries with these park rangers were destroying this stuff. Okay, they were blowing these things up. I documented, what was that, a month ago? I documented on my way to Hemet, California, the real Kemet, San Jacinto, another Saint Jacinto. Look that up. The Saboba Mountains, the mystical mountains, not too far from Redland, with all the pyramids and the step structures. Right there's an area where they put a mammoth-like sculpture of an elephant on the step pyramid. And I literally did a video there, literally documented, started messing up a little, and showed that there was a step pyramid that they were breaking down. Showed y'all this stuff, man. I'm showing y'all the stuff I'm documenting. These are remnants of old civilizations that have been destroyed over and over. Some of these civilizations They were destroyed, rebuilt, and destroyed again. Who knows when it started? I don't know. So for people to get a real deal, trying to say that stuff started in South America or Central America, but everyone talks about everywhere else but California. Go look at Mount Baldy. Go look up the story of Mount Baldy. They're gonna tell you that that's some story connected to the creation of Earth. Go look up what they're really calling Mount Baldy, what Mount Baldy looks like. It's a pyramid coming out of the mountain. Right next to it, it's another pyramid structure coming right out of the mountain. That's all you're seeing up in these mountains are pyramid structures coming out of these mountains. Perfect angles. Mountains do not make perfect shapes. Mountains do not make faces. Okay? If you look at a volcano, well, a volcano is producing what it does. I ain't seen no mud volcanoes yet. I have seen regular volcanoes. I've seen what the regular volcanoes put out. I have not seen a volcano putting out no giant faces. I'm sorry. I haven't seen it. And this stuff is not preserved. And again, when these rangers came over here and these missionaries came over here, they were destroying this shit. A lot of this stuff along the areas where people live, the foothills of the San Gabriel Mountains, a lot of this stuff, they have destroyed it, burnt it, covered it up with dirt. Some of the stuff, they can't even cover it up because it's so high, the awkward area for them to cover it up. And that's the stuff that I'm able to show. So basically, to sum it up, I can get my butt to bed. To sum it up, that I'll be doing some more information on this and giving out some details. That if you want to really dig into some ancient civilization stuff and some ancient stuff pertaining to how our people were coming into the way we were, you're gonna have to deal with stuff that's great. You got to start with what's first. You got to start with what's great to get a foundation on it. Another thing that I want to start busting out, really got to start really exposing. That's I forgot what days I do it. I think it's Friday. That we can't take any all Native American information gotta be thrown away. Has to be thrown away. Anything they say has to be thrown away. We need to only use our people's information. Now, I understand people want to call people from Mexico and Central America and South America tether and all that stuff. Cool. I know they coming up here for the benefits and do it for whatever, and they side with the people that don't have our best interests. Understood. I don't like that shit either. But when it comes to an intact culture, when it comes to people still speaking or having attachment to the language, we can't use these Native Americans. We got to stop doing that, man. Stop trying to use Native Americans information and history and then try and say, we the real ones. And they looking at y'all like y'all some fools, man. Like we was the real Cherokee. Them motherfuckers giggling. We made up the name Cherokee. We made this shit up. They made these names up. All these tribe names, they made that shit up. And if you think these people, if you think these people they call Great Plains Indians was some damn fish beings, because in order for them to be over here, in the 1700s, you'd have to be some damn amphibian fish beings, because they didn't even start damming this stuff. Man, they didn't really get a lot of this stuff. A lot of this stuff was still marshland, swamp, and flooded in the early 20th century. And then they give you this. So you think that this person lived in this area when this person arrived with the park rangers and missionaries. They weren't there. They arrived there. And if you look into all the stuff of the park rangers and missionaries, they're only in certain areas. And it's in the mountains. All the shit was underwater. Again, I was challenged on this 5 years ago. The person was not. You can't. This is something difficult to challenge, and it's difficult to prove. You can't challenge this without any information that doesn't come from some liars. You can't. It's impossible. I've tried. It's not happening. They're not gonna give you the information, the blueprints. They're not gonna show you what Los Angeles really looked like when the water receded. When they dammed it up, the water seeped and receded back into the ocean. They're not gonna tell you about that. But I did find the pictures. I do have them. I have a pic, and I have a link to all the information of 48 states, state capitals, museums, libraries, city halls, in main streets, what they would call Old Town or the downtown district area of 48 states. And my focus was really on the West Coast at first, but I started studying all the other states, the state capitals, the cities, the libraries, the museums, so on and so forth. Got to look into the theaters too. Got to look into the city halls, look into any of the old structures, and just start reading. Start looking at the years they say it was built, and then start collecting the data. Okay, the oldest ones are this date, the most recent ones are these dates, and then look into the people who they're attributing this stuff to, who they're saying designed this stuff. Say, man, you gonna find this shit as a joke. They facaded it, built over it, destroyed some stuff, and rebuilt it. Cool. But I got the details to it. I'll be slowly releasing this information. I'll be giving a lot more information on the Great Basin areas, again, major areas, the ancient civilizations, which many have called the oldest civilizations in early man sites. I have been to the early man sites, by the way, to location, and there's pyramids. Every early man site I went to, there were mountains shaped like pyramids. Let me start saying it like that because for me, cutting giant blocks of stone and moving it somewhere is kind of retarded. I never respected that, even when I used to hear people move 100 tons, like Seti saying that they moved 100,000 geometric symmetric stones, and that is retarded. It's retarded. And I had people in Egypt tell me that they were cutting those stones out of the mountain and making the shit look like that. So hey, anyway, uh, Great Basin civilization information coming up. I'm gonna put together a whole thing, set up some tours. I mean, I got some heads on these mountains that are bigger than Mount Rushmore. By the way, Mount Rushmore isn't it located closer to the Rocky Mountains? I believe so. So basically, y'all, man, I see that there's a great chunk of American history that is not being talked about, and I'm gonna bring it to the light since nobody else is, and I'm gonna show and prove that there's a reason why they hiding it and keeping it so secret, and why these areas make the most money in the country. I mean, my city alone is like a multi-trillion. You got Hollywood, you got the area next to Hollywood where all the Hollywood sets and come on, man, stop playing, man. Stop playing. So basically, they'll say that that is the people who are over here. They don't know how to build a damn thing. Another thing too, before I go, I've been putting together this stuff about the Seneca Dictionary versus the Algonquin Dictionary or Anishinaabe. And that's just the beginning. I'm gonna show and prove that both sides is some Native American bullshit, some fake ass shit, and a cover up. But the only one that actually has our words is in the Seneca Dictionary. I'm gonna show them proof that it was the ones who are called Iroquois, specific groups within the Iroquois. I'm gonna show and prove that it was the Iroquois who migrated into the East Coast and into Canada. They are not from that area. Well, you know what? Let me rephrase that because that's thinking of in the way of the Native American stuff. The real Iroquois, the people who are really descendants of the Confederate nations, the real, like the Confederate flag, that's the Iroquois nation. I don't know why people act like that. They just get real. When it comes to the people who were making clothes, that's the Iroquois. Doing math and calculating, chemistry, bringing corn. Corn was brought to the East Coast over by the Iroquois. Nobody else has corn or anything about corn or making anything with corn, and real corn. Not that fake corn that we eat today. That real corn. Different colors, chewy, disgusting as hell. The real corn. Okay? The real Constitution, not that fake stuff written by Albert Pike. The real structure of civilization, of building. There's so much. I don't even want to spoil it. But to simplify it, when people are seeing these names, they have a misconception because they're using their mind and looking at it as they're Native Americans. But you're not looking at it as what our people actually did. When people are called people of the standing stone, they made fucking megaliths. The real, like that whole longhouse shit, that shit is a damn joke. The real people, when they talk about the longhouse that our ancestors made, we're talking about the universities made with stone. Standing stone, people of the standing stone, people of the hill, y'all. These are the mound builders. It's been in your face the whole time. So when it comes to the Iroquois, you're gonna look when you go look up in the Seneca dictionary, you're gonna find they're the ones with the hemp, the tobacco, the corn, and many other foods and many other stuff, y'all. So I mean, this is the beginning of it, and I'm trying to get to the details of it. To my knowledge, so far, Iroquois came from over here, this side, and then during the Civil War, went over there. All that history about Iroquois stuff was written by Native Americans. All the stuff about the Algonquin stuff. In fact, all the different tribes that we know how to name, when we look into the history, it's a Native American that wrote it. So it's time to clean this shit up, man. I'm happy to be the one to help clean it up, y'all. Peace, y'all. Enjoy yourselves. Have a good night. Hopefully, y'all learned something tonight you can utilize and use. Man, there's so much more to come. So y'all take it easy. Another late night, another 2 a.m. Another one. All right, y'all. Peace.